all of the data that goes on our blog is stored in a database, so we need to set up a database. To do this, go to your cPanel and then find MySQL databases. Click on it. Then what you need to do is create a new database where it says new database. Name it something, and it's up to you what you name it. I'm just going to call it blog, and then click create. Now let's go back and we'll create a username and password. This is the username and password that will actually access the database for you. Again, I'm just going to call this blog, but you can call it whatever you want. Then give it a secure password. I'm just going to use the word password because this is a demo blog, but normally I would use a secure password. Now create the user. Click go back. Now you need to attach the user to the database. In your drop-down list here, pick the two blog that you created. You created one database and one user called blog. You notice that it appends your username to the front here. Make sure you have all selected and then add user to database. Now go back. Now you'll see that our blog database has been created up here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open a new browser window, and then we're going to type in the domain name to where we installed our blog. So in this case it's cell-phones.com/blog. So I'm going to type that in the address bar. Now you're going to get a message that says that your config file doesn't exist. Now before we're able to actually create this configuration file, we're going to have to change a directory permission. This is pretty easy to do. Just go back to your cPanel and then back to your file manager. Then into public HTML in this case. And we installed it in blog. So I'm going to click on the blog folder, and you need to click on the folder wherever you install it. Then go over where it says change permissions on the right here and temporarily check all 6 boxes so it says 777. Now let's go back to WordPress and then click create configuration. Okay, now we can go through the wizard. We have our database name and usernames and passwords our host will get to in a minute, and the prefix we'll get to in a minute. So click on let's go. Now under database name, let's go back to our cPanel and go back into MySQL. And then our database name is right here. So copy this and then paste it right here. And you need to put the whole string in there. Even though we just called it blog, this is the whole string that needs to be in there. Same thing for our username, although it happens to be the same. But you would copy it from the username down here. And then you would paste it in here. Password is password in this case. Database host is localhost, and that's almost always going to be correct. You can check that by rolling down, and if you see localhost down here, then that's going to be correct. Table prefix. This is if you have multiple blogs all using one database. You can do this if you only have one database on your hosting account and you want to host a whole bunch of blogs. You can change the table prefix. We're just going to leave that as it is, but if you're installing multiple blogs in one database, you would need to change this for every other blog that you installed. Now we'll click submit. Now we click run the install. Now here we're going to put our blog title. And here we put our email address. And then whether you want your blog to appear in search engines or not, if you do, leave that checked. Now we just click install WordPress. Now it comes up with our username and password. Take note of this password, you'll need it in a minute. So highlight it and copy it to your clipboard. And just to be safe, I would also open a notepad session and paste it in there and save it to your desktop. reproduce that. It is going to also be emailed to you. Okay, now click Login. And now we will click Admin, which is our username. We'll paste our password in here. If you wanted to remember, you can click there. But we're going to change the password right away anyway. So we log in now. And now we need to change our password. To change our password, you can just click up here where it says Howdy Admin. And now if you roll down to the bottom, you can give it a new password here. Just key them in the two places. And update your profile. You now have a new password. Now you should log out and then log back in with your new password. Now one last thing you need to do is go and change the permission back to where it was. So click on the folder you changed before, which in this case is blog. Go back to change permissions. And you need to set it to 755, and all you have to do is uncheck these two boxes. Click change. And now everything is secure and you're all ready to go ahead and set up your blog.